Oh, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 627 of FloWrestling Radio Live. I'm your host, Christian Piles, joined by Stephen Kyle Brackey, Oliver the Bear, a Stone, and special guest today with Ben Askren out on Pacific time. We brought in our man, John Kozak. John, how you doing?
Doing pretty good. How you guys doing?
Hey man, Last Chance, Olympic trials, it's all coming up. This is like your Christmas coming up here for the freestyle fans. So there's a lot that we have to get to yet before we get to like what's upcoming. Item 1, Hayden Hidley, not only back, but he's going to be in super hoagie mode. He's going up not one, but 2 weight classes up to 174 pounds. Kyle Brackey, instead of participating in our meeting, held his computer up to his ear like this the entire meeting so he could hear Hayden Hidley announce what he was doing, like a true Hayden Hidley fan would.
Well, you know, I really thought watching his last match, watching how emotional he was coming off the mat and everything, that he was done.
Yes.
And then he kind of sent a tweet that seemed that way afterwards. But then NC State was kind of like hinting at some stuff. It seemed like on social media about this podcast. And then I was like, I think he's coming back. And then the majority of the podcast, it's really good. He opens up about like all the how hard it was for him to hold 57, which I did not realize.
I can imagine.
And then just like he really opened up about this weekend and how emotional it was and everything. But yeah, he's bulking up. He says he really wants to be able to go with Trent like every day. And he said he walks around like 175. Okay. So he said he's going to transform the body this summer, and he's going to be jacked.
He's going to look preposterous. He looks
jacked.
ridiculous at 157. 174. Yeah, it's interesting in terms of the national landscape. Where does he fit? Because we've been talking about him versus Deacon, him versus Carr. Okay, now it's like him versus Starocci, him versus Caleb Romero. How is
maybe
this?
Kimmer?
Maybe Kimmer, which is maybe segue season. Everyone on Iowa is coming back, but we still don't know one guy's status. That's Michael Kimmer. What are we thinking is going to happen there? I know they said that he's going to be making his decision later. But yeah, thoughts on that?
I don't know. It would be his 7th year. I can't think of anyone using a 7th year. I think most of these guys coming back, it would be their 6th year or 5th year if they didn't redshirt. I don't know. I think he's going to need some convincing.
Yeah. And, the one thing for Iowa fans to remember is regardless of if Kimmer comes back, you're going to have someone really quality at that weight class with Patrick Kennedy. He's a top recruit. He's been in the Iowa room. He looked, pretty good against Labriola in defeat. Now, the question there, is he going to be a finalist? That may be a stretch at this point for him. It's just there's very few guys who out the gate can come in and make that kind of a run. And with Penn State returning 4 NCAA champs and, certainly being hot on the Shane Griffith trail, it's going to make that team race all the more interesting.
Yeah. If he doesn't come back, what do you think the net team points is for next year, with the replacement and all that?
Well, so he probably scored 22 or so. So I would say it's at least 10. I would figure if Kennedy wrestles well and earns 12 individual points, that would be pretty impressive. So he scored 20, so maybe 8 to 10 point differential. And then when you look at Penn State, in some ways Penn State sort of maxed out in 4 of their weights, right? They wrestled above expectations, but there are going to be a couple opportunities for them to get some more points. You got to figure Kirkfleet's going to do better than 7th next year. Robbie Howard's only going to get better. Their 149 situation, I mean, it seems very obvious that Shane Van Ness will be that guy. And that's someone, we'll see him at Last Chance, right?
Who?
Shane Van Ness.
Yeah, I believe he's in at 65.
Man, that's someone who I'm really excited to watch. We haven't got to see him, but shoot, one match this year against Josh Saunders, which he teched. So they're going to be better next year at 49 for sure.
Right.
So to me, it may not make sense. I mean, sure, maybe it does, but Penn State may be the team to beat next year. With their title contenders, and if no Kemmer comes back, that very well could be the case. So Iowa going to be great next year. Going to have a loaded team. It could be our best team race since the Ohio State Penn State battle of 2018, which is maybe one of the greatest team races of all time. And there should be two super teams going at it. And really, that's not even factoring in a team like Cornell, which should have everyone back. I'm excited to see. Everyone knows Yanni and Vito and Darmstadt and Max Dean, but guys like Chris Foca are going to be really interesting. Who did he beat in freestyle recently, John? Am I misremembering?
Oh man,
Did he beat?
I'd have to look it up real quick and see. I don't know off the top of my head.
Or did he just push Mark Hall?
That's exactly what I was going to say. I wasn't sure. I feel like he had a good win also, but I was going to say I know he also had a pretty close match with Mark Hall, which you wouldn't really expect seeing those two on the mat. So
yeah,
Foca's
maybe it was
definitely
just
coming along.
that. Maybe it was just that. But I like Foca a lot. I think he's going to be tough. Josh Saunders coming into the lineup. Julian Ramirez could be good. Cardenas, I guess. Will he be a heavyweight? Or will that be Luis Fernandez?
I think Luis Fernandez is heavyweight.
Cardenas is a unit.
He's a big dude.
He was
man.
at RTC
Yeah,
Cup. He
for
looked
real.
like an action figure.
Yeah, he's a big dude.
Yeah. So Cornell's going to be really good. Michigan, I don't know. Their window may have been missed. I don't know who's coming back for them, and I can't imagine we'll see Micic. Sorry, I see you're wearing the shirt, John, but I just don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't think Micic is going to be back. I think he's all in on international stuff, but that'd be cool. But I think the other thing to consider for Michigan is I hear they are in the running for Shane Griffith if Stanford doesn't bring the program back. So that could bring a boost up, right?
Yes, that is true. It sounds like the Griffith sweepstakes is down to Michigan and Penn State. We'll see if that ends up being the case.
And Ben Askren has predicted that Real Woods is going to Michigan for like a year now.
Yes, and I think that makes a lot of sense. I think there's one guy that can turn Michigan into a title contender. His name's Joey Silva. So if they get him back in the mix, watch out! Watch out! I'm just saying. Look
They
into
get
it.
him back in the mix to back up Real Woods. He'll have him there back in the mix.
Get him at 33. They're not gonna keep Ragusan down at 25.
Okay.
Silva at 33.
I want to know when the Joey Silva love affair first started. Because it's like a myth as old as time at this point, I feel like, where he's just been your guy, him and Darmy.
He's just my guy. I don't know. Probably, maybe around Who's Number One time when he beat RBY, or it was after that. So it's not like, definitely Shoegate helped. That was fun. No, I don't know. I think he's got a really sick style. I think he's really good. I thought he was sort of underrated when in the redshirt conversation. Like I feel like people forgot how good he was. And this was a guy that was like several matches in O against Austin DeSanto when Austin was like destroying people. So I don't know. I just like him. I think he's really good. If he gets in the lineup, I know it's a little tongue in cheek with Joey at this point, but if he gets on the team, I think he could help them. I think his best days are still in front of him. So I'm still holding out hope. But Michigan is a title contender up against the Iowas, the Penn States, and the Cornells is going to be kind of a stretch for me. I mean, they were not able to get one this year. Arizona State is going to return everyone. Everyone's going to come back for them. So they're going to be super duper good. They got a trophy this year. So it could be a very, very crowded trophy race going into next season.
That's why we like it.
That's how we like it. Hey, do you know anything about Corbin Myers? He's like 29.
Yeah. It sounds like it's up in the air right now.
Yeah.
No decision yet. What could help that decision is he missed a full season. So there was one less year of grind on the body, and he didn't wrestle at all last season. 0 matches. And only 14 this year. So I don't know. It'd be huge for Virginia Tech.
Yeah, because who would it be if not him?
That's a great question.
Great question.
If not him, then who?
If not us, then
When?
if not Ollie, then
Let's go.
I don't know, to be honest with you. Maybe Prada uses that extra year and moves up.
yeah. If Prada goes 33, that's problems because he's like
He's
small.
small, I know. Maybe Girardi can come back down.
That's who I was looking at.
yeah,
Maybe Girardi.
where he was a qualifier.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll cut him down to 33 if Corbin doesn't come back. Got it, Coach.
Got it.
Okay, let's heroes in a half shell. Give us portal power, Bracky. Who's in? Who's in the portal? Where could they be going? Who are the big dominoes?
The big dominoes, I would say, still out there. Well, Gas Tank Gary.
That's he's the crown jewel.
He's the crown jewel. If we're putting stars on these guys, he's the 5-star.
He's a
People want to
5-star.
know where he's going, right?
Yeah, everyone wants to know.
Yeah.
I wonder. I mean, does he stay? Does he go? Is Greenlee on this guy or what?
I hope so. I haven't talked to Coach Greenlee about him.
I mean,
but,
get the word.
I don't think there's any way he's not.
Okay, well he needs to be. If Kent State gets Gas Tank Gary,
Ooh.
that's not good.
It's not. I'll probably throw something.
Yeah.
Kradiger went in for Wisconsin this week. I thought was a snub for an at-large. I thought he deserved to get in. He had 2 wins over Jake Aller this season. Really shortened season, but he looked like he had improved a lot in the year. Keizan Clark, who started the year in the top 15 for us. American didn't wrestle till EIWAs, and he didn't enter. I believe we heard that it was a COVID-related thing.
Oh man.
So he didn't wrestle a match this season, but he started the season as a top 15 guy.
That's someone to go after.
Yeah, Greg Bulsick. He's a 4-time NCAA qualifier. For pretty much past 3 seasons, he's been ranked in the top 15.
He is tough.
Yeah, he's really good get for anybody. I have heard somewhere in the Big Ten for him.
Oh yeah. We know where he's going.
Jared Verclaren is interesting. An NCAA qualifier 2 years ago for Penn State, and then kind of got pushed out of the lineup this year. Just a lot of people around that area for Penn State. Looking back through here a little bit, what's interesting is,
I mean, I saw a couple big names high school big names like
Right,
Adam Buziello, Nick Ramo.
exactly. So the class of 2019 big board, 5 kids in the top 100 have gone in. Now Kyle Parko was forced to go in because Fresno State's dropping, and he's going to Utah Valley. But I did notice a bunch of college coaches following him after NCAAs.
They're like, it's not too late.
They're trying to poach him.
Stay off. Back off.
But then, so Busiello, Devin Winston, Nick Ramo, and Gabe Tagg, all from the class of 2019. And Busiello and Winston, this is their second time in the portal.
And those are guys that had like 3 different commitments
Before,
in high school.
Correct.
Okay, because Winston was UNC, then Minnesota.
He actually went to Minnesota.
He went to Minnesota
for like 4 months.
for 4 months, then went to SIUE.
Went to SIUE where
Now
he
he's in-
wrestled like in a couple open second semester there last season. Didn't wrestle at all this year. Now is in the portal. Busiello commits to
He was
State-
Penn State
as
early.
a freshman.
right.
Yeah, early, and then like stayed on him the whole time, and then I believe switched to Arizona State.
Because they gave Roman his
senior
money.
year,
Mhm.
and then
Smart.
went to Arizona State for a few months. Did the same thing, went in the portal, then was back at Penn State, and now is in the portal again.
Reportaled.
Tag, I don't know, just couldn't seem to get in the lineup there at UNC. I mean, he made a junior world team during his redshirt year, or maybe
Yeah.
the summer leading into him going to UNC. So that one's interesting.
No, Kyle, do those guys all have 3 or 4 years left of eligibility?
So it's been 2 years. They get one. I think they'll have 4 if they use the
Yeah,
extra
that's crazy.
year. Because the
Right.
majority of them redshirted. Yeah, they redshirted. No one started. And Nick Ramo was the other one we didn't talk about. But yeah, so they redshirted, and then this year doesn't count, so they have 4 years.
Dang. And Brent Moore, who we thought was kind of done because of injury, he's in the portal.
Yeah, I don't know if that's just one of those things where
He beat Kevin Jack once.
he beat Kevin Jack. He pinned Sammy Sasso once as well.
He pinned Sammy Sasso. That's right.
So if he's healthy, I don't know. Maybe he's worth taking a flyer. And he hasn't wrestled an actual match since CKLV in December 2019. I thought I like you. I thought his career was done, but I don't know. Maybe trying to give it one last go, he'd have an extra year. But I think this is going to continue to pick up as well too, as there's maybe some coaching carousel moves, and coaches have time to sit down and talk with these guys about whether they're going to come back and the money they have and all that stuff. I think it's only going to get spicier.
Yep, sounds like we'll have more coaching news later.
Frankie O'Brien brought up a good point here. Luke Caron from is interesting. He's an NCAA qualifier. I know he battled with injuries, but I remember when I first put the tracker out and he was like one of the big name guys in at the time, he like quotes him was like, "I promise you, I feel better than I ever have."
Oh, wow.
So I don't know. He'd be an interesting one to maybe take a peek on.
Take a peek. Just look at it. All right. So we should get into a couple things. One, I think Last Chance starts tomorrow. When do you go?
I'm leaving after the show.
Right after the show.
Whoa, we're gonna miss you.
We're going to miss you big time. He's headed up to Fort Worth. Are you and Spay carpooling?
We are.
Are you driving?
I think he's going to drive on the way there. I'm going
Okay.
to drive on the way back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good luck.
He doesn't like to do the whole, like he didn't want to leave after the finals, even though it's just like 3 hours away.
Oh, really?
I was like, no, we're coming back. I'll drive.
Well, Spade likes,
No, he likes to kind of hang around the
Yeah,
next
I'm like,
day.
dude, I need to get back.
I'm surprised
we're coming
that
back.
he doesn't want to go and hang out in the Delta Lounge and then have you pick him up from
Yeah.
there on the drive home.
Spay will spend a day in the Delta. He's like, 45-hour layover. I'll just hang in
Cool.
the Delta.
Delta Lounge.
He loves the Delta
Loves
Lounge
it.
so much.
Loves it.
I think if Delta were to offer him a position in the lounge,
Hell yeah.
we could lose Spay.
And it's the worst too because he's not really big on that like brotherhood unity.
No.
At the airport, like I remember me
He'll
and
ditch us.
KB were like, "Hey, are you hungry? I'm hungry." And then we like wandered around and looked for food for a little bit.
Yeah.
And he'll just like if it's just you and him, he'll be like, "All right, I'm gonna go to the lounge," and you're like, "Oh, I'm not allowed in." See you on the plane, and just leaves you, and like, it's
Yeah.
a lonely feeling.
I'm kind of big ducks fly together.
Me too.
When we travel
especially
together.
on the airplanes, I get a little nervous. I'm a little extra, as you guys know. So
Yeah.
I like to stick with my boys.
Yeah, Ollie is high maintenance, and I kind of like it because I can relate.
I try to take care of it myself and not put it on others. Though.
There you go. That's the main thing. The awareness is the key part.
Yes.
Okay, so Last
on.
Chance is tomorrow. We're excited for it. The pre-seeds came out. There's a little bit of discussion about it on the internet, but I think where do we start? Do we want to start with 86 because it is a pretty fantastic freaking weight?
It's so good.
So this is like these guys are not qualified for the Olympic trials. Their names are Gabe
Quarters
Dean,
are so sick.
Nate Jackson, Mark Hall, Drew Foster, David McFadden, Taylor Lujan, Max Dean, CJ Brucky. So very, very tough weight here. Kozak, give us some of your thoughts on this weight.
Yeah, I mean, right off the bat, you got Jackson, Hall, Lujan, and Dean all on the same side. It's like, they kind of set up Gabe Dean to make the finals. I mean, obviously he's going to have to get by Foster and Brucky, but man, that's just, you look at that and man, you don't want to be on that side, right? Because you got to win 2-3 really tough matches. I'm a little bit interested in how Lujan fell to 6. That seems low, right?
Yeah, so he beat Gabe Dean, and they said, and the big news is kind of like, hey, these are counting the RTC Cup, all these extra matches that have happened during this COVID time. They're counting for seeding. So what I think happened was McFadden beat Lujan at Senior Nationals, and then they're just not allowing the Lujan over Gabe Dean match to like take enough precedent, which is sort of, I don't know. I mean, if head-to-head is the number one thing, you can't make Taylor Lujan the number one seed, right? Like, that's obvious. So how much do you let that loss for Gabe Dean to pull him down? I guess they're saying, listen, Gabe Dean won the bracket that had Nate Jackson, Drew, McFadden, Lujan in it, so they're kind of giving him. But
Right.
the problem is that after that tournament is when he lost at the 8-man. So it's sort of it is kind of strange, but how would you see that with Lujan factored in?
Yeah, it's tough. I don't think I put him behind McFadden. No disrespect to David. I might move him up a slot or two just because of that Gabe Dean win. I think that means a lot. If you're saying he beat the number one guy in their most recent matchup, and it just feels wrong. I don't know. I just don't like the way it feels to me.
Yeah, and then for him, it's a Mark Hall quarterfinal.
Right.
That's
not a guy you want to see that early.
no way. Although it's even worse if you move him up to 5, then you have teammates hitting in the quarters. So it's just not, it's just not an ideal situation for someone like Lujan. And so what also is interesting is like Mark Hall at the 3, he's got the Miles Martin win from a couple weeks ago at Pelicone.
Mm-hmm.
Miles, of course, won the 195 8-man. He beat Nate Jackson. He's beat Nate multiple times. But Nate has the head-to-head over Mark. So that took precedent to make Nate the 2 and gave the 1. I'm not as up in arms about this. I think it's tough. But what is also notable is that these brackets will have true seconds. So if Gabe Dean and Nate Jackson make the finals and Nate beats Gabe, then that means whoever lost to Gabe Dean, they'll have to figure that out for true second. So if you lose in the finals, your day is not done. You have to win true second, which is always, man, that's crazy.
Are they doing that as like a COVID contingency in case the guy who wins it doesn't have a spot or anybody else doesn't have a spot?
No, so they're taking top 2.
Okay. Oh, okay.
They're taking top 2, so they want
Makes sense.
they want to they don't want someone just to have the easy side, make the finals and lose, but still be in. It's also
what do you guys think of the Hidley or the Mark Hall Nate Jackson matchup? You think it looks different this time around, or you think it's still like a one score late match?
I liked Mark. I mean, my Tuesday headline was Mark Hall texts Nate Jackson. And he lost.
Right.
So I tend to be bullish on Mark Hall and freestyle. I think it's a close match. I do think Mark wins. Mark was winning with like 20 seconds to go, and Nate got it done. So I think we've seen Mark's a little bit better. Now he's still way behind like the Zahids still. I think it's gonna be a little bit. I don't know. I think Mark gets it this time, but obviously at this point, Nate Jackson cannot be denied or dismissed as someone that couldn't win this bracket. He could even beat a Gabe Dean. What do you think?
Yeah. I feel like if Nate Jackson doesn't qualify at this like last chance, they should just give him a spot because he's been putting on the line, more than anybody in the world, like since quarantine. But as far as the matchup goes, I think it's a tough matchup for Mark, just because Nate's so long, and so explosive on his feet, and so I think it is going to be close. But I think Mark looks different just at the Pelicone than he did in his first match against Nate Jackson. So I think he's a guy, you get him in freestyle and he just starts, getting back to where he's comfortable. So I think he makes the finals here.
Yeah. Man, I am just not sure. How about, so we had him on the watch party and we're talking with him, and he to us is the classic tweener. He's probably best suited at Olympic weights if it was like a 174. But he said he is not going back down. He's just going to try to fully build up into 86. What were your thoughts when you heard that, John?
Yeah, 86 is so deep domestically. It might be the weight where you could pick the most guys and send them to Worlds, like 3 or 4 or 5 deep, and they'd all medal in a Worlds field at 86. I think it's the weight I have the most U.S. guys ranked out of any of the Olympic weights. So I think Mark, he wants to compete, I think, for the next 4 years or so, the next quad. So I think that's the way he's thinking, is what's going to help me not just this year, but down the line, 2024, to extend his career. And I think he's bigger than he looks, right? I think that's what everybody always says. And I don't think he likes to cut weight. I don't think he wants to cut weight. I think he wants to enjoy himself and wrestle for, a few years down the line. So you respect it, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think, he's coached by a guy, Brandon Slay, that was like a box and just like a more stocky, strong guy. So he's not that they're stylistically all that similar, but, there's over time with enough dedication to getting bigger, he can get bigger. But if, every other year you're cutting down and bulking up, it is tough. Tough to see. And I do agree. I think he always was a little bigger than he looked. When we watched him at 74, it was kind of like, can he make 65? Because is that possible? And it was like, no way, never, could never do it again, could never make 74 again. So I think he's just one of those guys a little bigger. Whereas, like, conversely, Zahid Valencia was always someone that was, like, a little smaller than he looked.
Right.
Okay, while we're on 86, let's just talk about it. All right. Should we be giving Zahid a real shot here at making this Olympic team? Because for a while, I was just like, Taylor, no matter what, David Taylor, just don't, any other names other than Jaden Cox, just don't even say them. Now, I watched Zahid. I've been watching him throughout the offseason. He pushed Jordan. Jordan and David had a close match. He goes to Pelicone. He dominates Mark Hall. Just dominates that entire tournament. And now I'm like, maybe this is a real thing. Am I crazy?
I think it's going to be a match. Zahid and David, they wrestled in freestyle. I'm trying to find it here. They wrestled in 2016.
Or 16? Yeah.
16 Grand Prix of Spain. And I can't find that video anywhere. It's like lost. But from what I hear, Zahid got the first takedown.
Yes.
I think he was winning at the break. And then David came back and won 10-3. And so that was 5 years ago. And so you say both of them have gotten better since then. But I feel like if any guy has jumped higher levels, it's Zahid. But I don't know. Maybe that's just one match, and you don't really know. But I think it's going to be a thing. I think it'll be. I don't think David's going to blow through him. And with the ways that he looked at the Pelicone against Mark Hall, it's like, oh, okay, this guy, he's for real. So.
Yeah, and I remember watching that match, and that is how it played out. It was early scores for Zahid, and then he flat out got worn out by David in his pace, and David seemingly figured some things out technically against him. I think it's going to be an interesting match. I think what Zahid has is the incredible athleticism and elusiveness that's going to make David have a harder time getting to him. David is still, without a doubt, my pick, but this became David Taylor's the biggest favorite of any weight at the trials to, man, is this Zahid, if he can get to him, is going to make it really interesting. And it's fascinating because no one's sitting out here. The bracket is very live, and if you look at these seeds, if Zahid has to go through looking at JD's projected seeds, he's got it if Gabe Dean qualifies, 1 Taylor, 2 Zahid, 3 Gabe Dean or Mark Hall, then Miles Martin. So Zahid could potentially have to go through Gabe Dean, who I think is actually a pretty tough matchup for him.
Yeah, I agree. If Gabe Dean can make that match really close after the first period and kind of turn it into hand fighting and wearing him down, getting like little step outs here and there, I think that's a nightmare matchup for him. And even Miles Martin for Zahid. Man, they had a really close match at, was it 19 Senior Nationals? Yes. Where it was like 1 score, Miles is right there. So yeah, I think you like David kind of blowing through the challenge tournament more, and then when it's just one match, you could see somebody stinging Zahid and getting out. So yeah.
Yeah, oh my gosh. I can't believe this is like literally next week.
I know, it is kind of crazy when you think about it. When you guys are talking about it, I'm thinking about it as like a far off thing. Like it'll be fun when we actually get to see this, and it's like, oh, we do in a week. So get ready.
Well, it's crazy because it's always just Olympic trials are always a far off thing. It just always seems like it's forever. And then once it didn't happen last year, it's like, oh, the Olympics don't exist anymore. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
We're just like, it's just a hypothetical thing we just discussed. But it's like, wait, it's next week. It's literally going to happen in Fort Worth. I'm so excited for it, and every weight is absolutely fire. And think about this: there's a scenario where Nate Jackson and Gabe Dean don't make the Olympic trials, and they're unquestionably like the top 6, 7 guys, but it's that hard to qualify. Well, Gabe Dean sort of, him being retired made it so he missed all the qualification windows up till, the last chance. So that's why he's out. And Nate Jackson just shows the overall one. It shows a couple of things with Nate not being qualified. One, it shows how much improvement he has got, he has achieved over a little time. And it just shows how hard it is to qualify, right? Aaron Brooks was not qualified until he won NCAAs. So it's a tough thing.
Right. Am I missing something? Is Heidley not going last chance?
Oh yeah, good point.
Not entered yet.
I mean, golly, and he beat a mean, right?
He did. He did beat Amin. And I don't see Mr. Fast Twitch. I wonder if we'll see him at the trials.
Well, he's qualified now.
He's qualified.
Man, I hope so.
Yeah, we want to see the festival. So why don't we start at 57? Not a ton to discuss here, just because I don't see anyone on this list that I could conceivably see contending for the spot. But it's really it's competitive. I feel like the top 2 seeds here are the guys with Zane Richards and Jack Mueller, but Darian Cruz, Frank Pirelli, Deshays Hernan are super tough. But I do see those guys making the finals and then holding serve for true second. Do you guys see any deviation from there?
Go ahead, Kozak.
No, I think, if you're looking at somebody that can get in there, obviously Darian Cruz. DeShazer's always, he could always, I don't see him maybe winning it, but I could see him taking out one of the top guys. I think he is able to keep matches close. And
DeShazer, he's a guy, he always has a slapper's chance. I can't count him out.
Yeah, he's dangerous. I did the little write-up for 57K preview, and I said he's dangerous in multiple ways.
Multiple ways.
Yeah.
That slap setup is something to be taken serious.
No.
Watch out for Sean Russell. Not saying he's gonna do anything, but he had a nice senior nationals, and I think he might have beat Cruz. I'm trying to find. No, he didn't. But Cruz DMP'd there, and he was like, Russell was like 5th.
I didn't realize Cruz DMP'd. That's interesting. So yeah, that's 57. Are there any? I need to find the entries because there's some. Maybe some tough guys that aren't, maybe not this way. Is Flynn going here?
Yes. Uh-huh.
I want to see him. I am always interested in seeing the high schoolers, early college guys, how they fit at the senior level.
Yeah, so the 2 guys in this bracket that probably fit that mold the most are Cooper Flynn, who you look at his high school freestyle results are really solid. He's been 5th, 3rd, 7th at Fargo, was 4th at Cadet World Team Trials. He's a top 25 guy in the class of 2021. He signed with Virginia Tech. And then the other one, this was his 2nd year at Minnesota, but still interesting, is Matt Ramos. He's Cadet World Champion. He was the one that beat Darian Cruz. He beat Brandon Courtney as well.
Oh, snap.
At Senior Nationals.
Matt Ramos?
Yeah. He took a weird loss on the front side to Skylar Petrie, but then on the backside beat Courtney and Cruz, and then lost to Sam Latone.
That's gopher on gopher crime.
Right.
So he had to respect the elder gopher.
That's right. Yeah.
That's how gophers work.
So watch out for Ramos.
Yeah. Oh wow, I didn't realize he beat those guys. Now a Brandon Courtney win is in such a new light now. After,
big time
after his NCAA performance. Okay, 65. The pre-seeds are as such: Pat Lugo, Evan Henderson, Mitch McKee, Luke Pletcher, Matt Kolodzic, Dean Heil, Sean Foss, my man is Eaton, and Shelton Mack. Other guys that are not seeded but are notable: Brock Zackrell, Josh Saunders, Shane Van Ness, Keyshawn Clark, the aforementioned, all in the mix here. So thoughts on this weight class? There's a lot of really good guys here. Could Shane Van Ness do it?
I wonder where Shane Van Ness is going to fall in the bracket, right? I think that might. Do they seed him, somewhere just to get him so he's not an early hit for one of the top guys? I don't know. Would
Yeah.
they do that?
That I could see them getting a little creative with someone like that that's that good. I feel like we could see Shane going with a lot of these guys. He could have an interesting match with a Kolodzik or even a Pletcher or a Heil.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, like, what's the highest level of guy you guys could see him taking out at this event?
I don't think he can beat like a Lugo. I think Lugo is just so fundamental, so big, strong. He'll get to his. I mean, Lugo's looked great in this
Yes, he
kind of
has.
COVID season.
I mean, he gave Bajrang his best match at the 8-man, it seemed, when
Yeah.
you look back at it. So
Yeah. So I think someone like him, I kind of write off, but someone like a Pletcher, Heil, McKee. I mean, he's already beaten a Saunders. I think he can go with almost everyone else. Henderson's an interesting one because he's so crazy that you're like, oh, that may keep him in the match. But he's also so crazy, he'll do some stuff that like Shane hasn't seen potentially. So I feel like those two are sort of set, but I'm curious what you think, John.
Yeah, Henderson's a guy who has beaten. I mean, he has the best wins out of anybody on this list. But then, he'll take losses where you just kind of like. He lost to Nishan at America's Cup. He got teched, right? And so you're like, what? You don't really see that coming. And I think that's why he's not the number one seed here. And because then at that same event, Lugo beat Nishan. So Henderson, I don't know what to expect with him. He wrestles a ton, so maybe that's why he has like these all over the place results. But I think you should pick him against Shane Van Ness. But then it's like maybe you should also say that's a match he can lose. So yeah.
Yes.
We did actually, common opponent, he was down to Josh Saunders at America's Cup by like 6 or 7.
Henderson?
Yeah, and then he came back and I think ended up winning by 6 or 7, or maybe even got the tech. And then we just saw Van Ness have no problems with Saunders.
All right, Van
Yeah,
Ness.
9-7 against Saunders. Henderson won.
9-7, there we go.
Yeah, Van Ness is gonna make a run here. I really believe it. I think he's like one of the top storylines for Last Chance. Like, where does this kid stack up? Because there's implications not just qualifying for the Olympic trials, but like, all right, where is this guy gonna fit next year for Penn State? And we feel like he's gonna be really good. And seeing him just wrestle neutral against some of these seasoned senior level guys is really interesting. But you cannot fall in love with those results because, you think of someone like Andrew Alirez, who is amazing at freestyle. We haven't seen that translate yet to the folk style world. But in general, it translates. Okay, so 65's fun. Shane Van Ness watch for sure. 74. Ryan Deacon, Alec Pantelio, Chance Marsteller, Tyler Berger, Vincenzo Joseph's a 5 seed, Joey LaValle, Josh Shields, and it says Shield there, but it's Shields, and Julian Ramirez, who we talked about earlier. Does Chenzo seem a little low at the 5?
Yeah, I think the problem with seeding him is who has he wrestled in this field in the last year and a half in freestyle. Right, he hasn't been super active, so I think maybe that's kind of where he belongs on paper. Not saying that he's gonna. I think if I were to pick someone, I think I feel good about Chenzo making the finals. I don't know. I don't know how Deacon is, like how close to 100% he is. But yeah, maybe the match there is that Berger Joseph quarter. But I don't know. This is like 174 where I think matchups matter a lot. So like, how does Pantaleo match up with Marsteller? Where like Pantaleo is not a huge 74 guy, and Marsteller, you think about, he's wrestled 79 in the past, coming down. Could Marsteller be a guy that gives Pantaleo trouble? So yeah, I could see any of the top 5 guys making the finals here.
Yeah, thinking about the Pantaleo Marsteller match, Alec is a guy who you see he uses his physicality, his brute strength, his speed against guys. So you'll be able to use that against someone like Chance. You also, with Chance, is a guy we've seen wear out in matches. Is Alec a guy that's going to push the pace? I feel like the answer to both those questions is no, but I still think he's going to beat Marsteller. I think he's just going to find a way to a couple of takedowns and beat him. He will be a little small, but I feel like just the consistent training environment, what's going on at Michigan, I think he'll be prepared there, and I see him making the finals there. And I'm kind of with you. I think the Burger Joseph winner will beat Deacon just based on what we kind of saw from Deacon last weekend. I feel that just didn't look like the Deacon that beat, Hayden Hidley convincingly at Cliff Keen. Didn't look like the Ryan Deacon that beat James Green. It looked like, a slightly different version. Then again, we've seen Ryan he's always been better at freestyle. And so this is his best style. So he could, I think everyone wrestling at their best, everyone fully optimized, Deacon is the best guy. So maybe for that reason you just say, hey, Deacon's my pick, but I don't know. Any guys outside the pre-seeds that should be mentioned? I'm not seeing a ton of, Branson Ashworth's a name, I guess, Valamont, but nothing really sticking out to me.
No.
Okay. So let's go. We already talked about 86, 97. Braxton Amos for me is the big name.
Yeah, for sure.
That's who I want to see. I want to see where that guy is in his freestyle. He's always been really good at the international styles. He's really good at Greco. I think this is the kind of weight someone like Braxton could make a run.
He's doing both styles, by the way, too.
Doubled up.
Yeah.
He can make both Olympic teams. So I'm curious. Can he go with Ben Honus, who's huge and got a really good gut and very seasoned? What are y'all thoughts on this bracket?
I think I'd pick him against Honus.
Whoa.
Yeah? No? You guys aren't feeling me on that one? There's some surprised eyes there?
Bracky's kind of recused himself from the conversation.
I'm letting you guys go first.
Yeah. What do you think, John?
Yeah, I haven't watched him enough to say like with confidence. But even just him beating Dudley, a couple months ago, and kind of like handling him, that's like one of those things where it almost reminds you of like an AJ Ferrari type of feel, to where you just feel like this is the guy, and he's gonna be a guy moving forward who's just he's gonna catapult himself to the top. And you almost don't need to see him beat anybody before you feel good about picking him. So I think that's how I feel about him. I don't know.
Yeah, I like to skew towards youth and talent versus like experience in these kind of situations, and yeah, I kind of feel like Braxton could win this. Schaefer's a guy that's been really good, but I think Braxton can win this way. It's not like 86 where you have all these amazing studs.
No, not at all. It's there for the taking.
Yeah. So
I just thought of this. Feels like I'm gonna play the role of Askren here, but what do you think about Amos is the 4 seed and he's got Ben Honus as the 1. So if Honus beats him and Schaefer makes the finals, and you think Schaefer offers like Ben, like, hey man, just forfeit to me. Amos already took 3rd. You don't have to wrestle him again, right? And they just kind of make a deal.
Backroom deal.
Backroom deal.
Dirty politics.
Is that a good like Ben Askren impression?
That's really good. Yeah,
that's exactly what he would do. He would always.
That's what I was going for.
Look, here's the deal. I'll give you 4 Bitcoin.
I'll give you a no-work finals match for
4 Bitcoin. I'd do it.
No shot
for everybody. Yeah.
And we thought, the true second would avoid, the forfeits in the finals, but not if these guys are cutting backroom deals like that.
Deals.
I didn't even see that coming, Kozak. Good thoughts.
Yeah, that's woke right there. I love it.
That is good. Now, maybe, what if they don't wrestle back to 3rd place and just wait? Does that matter?
They wait to see what happens in the finals?
Yeah. That's what they need to
What you
do.
gotta do. That's what they need to do. Yeah.
That's the chess move. USA Wrestling's got to make.
Chestnut checkers.
Yeah, chestnut
Yeah.
checkers.
Yep.
Heavyweight, I just don't. I can't. I
Don't
can't.
play us like this.
I can't get up for this. I can't
Come
go.
on.
You got to carry it then. Carry it. Get me excited.
This one's tough, man.
It's tough. But it's like,
Yeah.
and it's also like, these guys are going to enter the field with Gwiz, Gable, and Mason. It's just like, I just.
Cause like, what did you think about Derek White getting the one? Because it kind of broke Spade's brain.
White Snake.
Really? You know what? I'm sorry, Ollie. I looked at other weights and I didn't really look at this one. So
See, that's exactly the attitude I'm talking about in wrestling. That's really. I'm not even gonna get started. It's your first day, so I'm not gonna really go at you like that. But come on, Cosette, you can't be marginalizing us big guys like that.
We're not going to do it for Olympic trials. That's going to be the one we're almost the most excited about.
We didn't do it for NCAAs either.
Okay, all right, you guys are right. But I'm expecting a big come around for trials. All right.
Okay.
It has more to do with the guys in the tournament than the weight,
Yeah,
Than the fact
it's
that
a good
they're
point
just
for this
big
one,
dudes.
but I guess I'm a little sensitive because I could just see the people like just pouring out of the building, and my finals match is coming up. So,
So, like 5 seed Danny Chade, he beat Derek White at Senior Nationals first round.
Classic.
doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
it doesn't count.
What else happened, though?
Tanner Hall made the finals.
Right. Did White wrestle back at all?
It did. He just did not make it very far in the wrestlebacks
Well, they didn't let him.
because he lost to Yusuf Hamida in the blood round.
Well, he made it past the pre-blood round, which is pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, he had 2 guys that outplaced him and 1 guy that beat him head to head.
He made it to the pre-conci quarters too. So, you know what? You just want to downgrade him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he should not be the 1 seed. I'm not sure what happened there. What is even the claim? Like, make the case for Derek White at the 1.
I can't.
Okay. You can't do it. All right.
Spay said all his other results were at 97, but I don't know if that's true. I'm just trusting Andrew Spencer Spay.
Yeah, which, that's fine. All right, so why don't we get into these our man JD Raider, we were kind of kicking the tires on Olympic trial seeds, and I don't know how you do some of these. It's really tough.
I think you do him like Kozak did him last night.
He did. Let his daughter just draw him out of a hat?
Yes.
57. That's what you do.
Spencer Lee got the 10. That's interesting. A lot of people didn't see that coming.
Iowa fans are going to be so pissed about that.
Yeah. They're just gonna be yelling at your daughter. Yeah. So what JD has is Dayton, Gross, Gilman, Spencer, Vito, Soriano the 6, Joe Colon the 7. Which I see what he did there. It's like Joe lost to Soriano, who lost to Vito, who lost to Spencer. Now here's where it gets tricky. And they got Gross ahead of Gilman because he beat him. And Dayton ahead of Gross because... Why? How do we get Dayton at the 1?
World team member, right? Returning world team member.
But he lost to Gilman at
Pelican.
Last Pelican. So 57 is really tough to seed. I think there's a scenario where Gross is the 1, and then Spencer could be the 2 because he beat Sanders, who beat Gilman, and then Gilman beat Dayton, so Dayton could be the 4. But then there's also the scenario where Dayton is the 1 because he's the returning world teamer. I don't know how you do this one. It's tough. And honestly, this one is so matchup reliant. It could go a lot of different ways. How would you seed it?
I think it matters. It matters who they put at the 1, right? Whoever they decide, gets the 1. Then I think that helps everything else kind of fall in line. So if they put Dayton at the 1, I actually kind of like the way it works out. Except you got Dayton and Spencer in the semis, Spencer Vito in the quarter. Man, that's a tough road for Spencer. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's tough.
It's tough to see how Spencer can do it with no ACLs. It just seems like it's gonna be tough for him to be himself. I mean, a gross Gilman semi is also really interesting as well. But 6'3". Suriano Gilman is a quarter. And we just watched. I feel like Suriano in all this is he is kind of left out in the a little bit because, okay, yeah, 2019 he did lose to Vito, but he just went to a tournament that had Gilman and Vito in it, and he outplaced all those guys, and he beat the dudes that beat them. And to quote Tony Ramos, it's not his fault they never made it that far.
Right. You could put Suriano at the 1 because he beat Cologne. But that was back almost 2 years ago. Cologne beat Gross. Suriano finished ahead of Gilman and Vito. You could put him at the 1. You could put Dayton at the 1. You could put Gross at the 1. If you want to get crazy, you could put Spencer at the 1 because he hasn't lost to anybody. But
let's give them all the 1.
Let's give them all the 1 seed and then put them in an order.
And ask them how they feel about it.
Man, I just want to be in this seating meeting really, really bad.
Right.
Fly on the wall.
Yeah, fly on the wall for that one. So I don't know how they're going to do it. I don't like JD's, but I don't like any of y'all's ideas either. So I don't like how.
Where's your idea? What's your idea?
What's
Mr.
your big idea?
Yeah, Mr. I got glasses. Look at me. Come over, smart man.
You have glasses too.
Yeah, I'm not out here putting down everybody's seeds ideas.
I didn't put down everyone's seeds.
Yeah.
If you put down everyone's seeds, then you don't make fun of anyone's seeds because you don't like anything. I don't know. JD and I had one that I kind of liked where it was Gross at the 1 because he beat Gilman, and then Suriano the 2 because he outplaced all those guys, and he has a win over Suriano, and then Gilman the 3, Dayton the where was Spencer in that? Crap, I can't remember it anymore. But it was better. But it was better.
You don't even know it.
Yeah, no, it's really tough to do. There's not a ton of great options.
Random draw.
I like it.
Random draw. It's one way to do it. Okay, 65 kilograms. We've got, I think it's a little more clear cut here. Zane, Yanni, Green, Oliver, McKenna. Now,
help me understand here. What am I missing? Why is Yanni the 2 if he lost to McKenna and Jo beat McKenna at the same tournament? They haven't hit since, so head to head.
Yeah, because did Yanni beat Green multiple times?
Yeah.
But did Green and Jo, did they wrestle?
Not since 2016?
I thought they wrestled again somewhere.
Or no, did they?
I
think that was the match. That was the match that was going to be at the 8-man.
Yeah, it was going to be the semi.
Pantaleo beat Jo. James Green beat Pantaleo. So
are they? Is James Dean factoring that in?
He must be.
I think that would be a mistake. I think if you're basing it on those kind of results, and it's tricky with all the matches now counting. But Zane, you could go. So you think Zane, Jo, McKenna, Yanni?
That's if you go head to head, and by most recent result, that's the way you gotta do it. So I don't know unless
that would make it a Green Yanni quarter. Winner gets Zane. Ouch.
Right. Yeah.
That's painful.
You're mean, Kozak.
That's how you mean, dude.
What are you doing over here?
That's who I am.
No excuses. I like it.
Let's see here. Oh, okay.
Are you gonna ask him why he did what he did?
No, I'll let him go. But I'm glad he's listening. I just wanted to see. I wish I had the rankings he was looking at before he put those out. All right, so 74 is pretty obvious. Burroughs is in the finals. Dake is in the challenge semi. Imar 1, Nolf 2, and then he says the rest depends on who comes out of Last Chance.
But I think he just didn't care. He's like, all right.
Yeah, he got lazy on that one.
Yeah, he just mailed. JD, you mailed it in. We're just gonna call you out for it. You put this tweet out. You mailed in 74, but it's fine because we know who the 3 are and we really know who the 2 are, and that's all people are really gonna be talking about with 74. 86. That seems to fall pretty well in line with the results. Do you agree?
Yeah, this one's a little more simple.
Yeah. Ringer's an interesting one. I mean, Bo Nickel at the 5 is like, whoa. That's and if he beats Miles, which historically he has, then Bo Nickel, David Taylor semi. Whoa. That's just wild. Okay, 97. Kyle's in the finals. Jaden's in the challenge semis. Then it's Colin, Zilmer, Mike Mock, Gadsden. Feels like it'll be Jaden versus Colin in the challenge finals, and then Jaden versus Kyle in the finals. Final countdown. And then Gwiz is the...
So Mr. Fast Twitch has a mission operation.
Ooh, will he have a mission or an operation?
In his hometown.
Yes. He's got to go.
He has to, right?
Who do you think he can't beat at 97?
Mainly Kyle and Jaden and Colin.
Why can't he beat?
Yeah.
Why can't he beat Colin
Moore? He can't beat.
Okay, y'all can go there.
I'm asking why can't he?
I didn't say. Well, I mean, I didn't say he couldn't. I just don't think he will. I think it's highly unlikely that he beats Colin Moore. Colin Moore is really, really good at freestyle. He's beaten basically everyone short of Kyle and Jaden.
Yeah. So. Okay.
He's never wrestled a Ferrari before.
He's never wrestled a Ferrari. For all I know, Colin's never even driven a Ferrari.
Well, shit. How's he gonna handle that horsepower?
He may not be able to, but it's.
Yeah, you're right though. It's probably not gonna.
Colin is slick. He's gonna be big.
AJ Ferrari is the slickest Ferrari ever, quickest, slickest, and fastest Ferrari ever built.
I don't find AJ to be that slick. I think he's insanely.
He's the quickest, slickest, and fastest Ferrari ever built.
You just like the branding of saying that sentence more than you want to accept it as reality.
I'm sorry.
He does he does a couple things just preposterously well, but he's not like Colin's got a lot of different ways to win. For who knows? Maybe Fast Twitch 2021 to Tokyo.
Do we know if he's going? Do we know if he's going to the trials?
Twitching to Tokyo. I don't know. I kind of feel like he won't, but who knows?
Man, it's such a missed opportunity if he doesn't.
It really is. You're
playing with the house money. Just go do it.
It's like a 3-hour drive from Stillwater.
Mm-hmm.
Get on down, head home, have a nice dinner.
Italian dinner.
Nice Italian dinner.
The Metagut.
Oh, what's that?
The Metagut.
What's that?
You don't know Metagut?
You put 4 consonants.
Manicotti?
Oh yeah, I know manicotti.
Okay.
That's not what you said though. Because when you said manicotti, you said manicotti. When you go Menegut,
that's how you say it.
No.
Yes.
That's not even how you say it in Italy, I bet.
All right, you never even been. I live there.
In Italy?
Yeah.
So 125. Yeah, we gotta watch Fast Twitch. We need Fast Twitch and Braxton to both make it so we can see that match.
Heck yeah.
We've been waiting for it since Who's Number One.
Since Who's Number One didn't happen. Okay, Gwiz, Gable, Paris, Dom, Tony Nelson at 125. Gwiz is the big-time beneficiary of qualifying the weight because otherwise he would be like the 2 or the 3 and have to go through Paris, then Gable. But now it's Gable and Paris in the semi, and Gwiz will just have to get I say just, like it's easy. But compared to Gable and Paris, it's a simpler mission operation.
Just chips.
Dom and Tony Nelson winner versus Gwiz. I guess this is pretty cut and dry, right?
Yeah, I think the only thing he doesn't have there is I'm pretty sure Kirkfleet is going to be the 6. So that'll be Mason and Kirkfleet quarter right off the bat. So that'll be fine.
Man, I'm curious. Do we feel certain that Kirkfleet will go to this? I guess why not? Kind of a situation, huh?
Yeah.
Why not?
Why not? All right. Why don't we go to a couple questions and we'll get on out of here. What do you say, boys?
I ain't mad at that.
He's not mad. Okay, from Nathan Silvers. 2-foot step out question. If I have a single leg in the air and walk you out of bounds, do I give up the point because your second foot never stepped out? Step out almost has to be 1 foot. Great point. I think that makes sense. I think I just do the freestyle step out. Why you got to be 2 feet? What did you think about when you saw the 2-foot rule there proposed, John?
Yeah. It's like why not 1? And it's like kind of a joke, but like the folk style refs are so like they just need like the 5-second count, like 1, 2, and then like if the arms aren't touching the leg, then they stop counting. And so it's almost like you could see the 2-foot rule be interpreted so, literally, that it just is like, come on, guys, you know what I mean? But why not 1? Why not 1? That's my response.
I feel like it needs to be 1. I feel like they should just do the freestyle. It sounds like there's a lot of momentum for it, not just from fans, but the coaches are kind of like ready to go and kind of on board with. There's going to be something. It sounds like so. I'm excited about that. Andy Hamilton has been working on a story that should be finished in the next day or so. That he talked to a bunch of coaches about it and got some feedback from them on where they see it going. So be on the lookout for that because I think that's going to be something that a lot of wrestling fans are interested in reading about. So much of officiating in NCAAs is like just up to the individual ref's interpretation. You know what bothered me the most? If you watch the watch party, it's the tinks. It's the guy counting the watch party. 1 tink. They had to hit the mat. Tink. It's like this weird little tick that they put in. It's like no tinks.
Cut the tinks.
Get rid of the tinks. How you hitting the mat?
He's building his brand. That's
That's true.
He's like, I'm the ref. If you don't know my style, I got a couple things. I'm gonna call stalling. I got a quick trigger, and I do the tinks on the near fall.
He's gonna get tink T-shirts made.
Yeah. So, throw out the tinks, 1-foot step out, and I think we're good to go, and we save college wrestling. Okay, actual cannibal. And again, I do have some moral. It's a conundrum asking these guys questions, but what can I say? Non-cannibals don't ask as many good questions as an actual one. So, it's a true meritocracy here, and we will ask cannibals questions. So he said, what if the score is tied and they do 2-minute round of sudden victory, and if nobody scores, then they go to criteria? Kind of like that.
I kind of like it, but I'm also like out on these if this happens, then this happens rules and stuff like that. I feel like there's a lot of them in wrestling, and it only makes it more and more confusing each time. So I feel like just pick one or the other.
Okay. What's criteria? What is that?
Yeah, that's a good point. Now we have to come up with the folk style criteria. I'm now out on it. I have heard it theorized that like for freestyle, go if they're tied at the end of it, then do an extra minute. And then if no one scores, it's criteria or whatever. But I think that's stupid too.
My thing is like when I'm watching with somebody else who isn't a big wrestling fan, like how many times I have to go in and explain a added wrinkle to a rule. I'd like that to happen less.
Yes. That's good.
Yep.
It's like when I'm like trying to explain freestyle to my parents. It's like, just don't worry about it.
Yeah. So many times. There's so many times that happens.
It's like so much more. It can be very complex. So if you don't know, at NCAAs, there are often mayors of the city that are elected by the constituents in the crowd. So, for example, a mayor of New York City was David Terrell. He won over the hearts of wrestling fans in his performance at Madison Square Garden. Tariq Wilson was the mayor of Cleveland in 2018. A lot of people don't realize that. So a question was asked, was Shane Griffith the mayor of St. Louis this weekend? Yes, he was elected.
100%.
He was the elected mayor of St. Louis. He can add that to his resume. We love the mayors.
He's probably the only one that can say that dump of a city.
You stop waging war on St. Louis.
That was cold, but he could do it. And yeah, it was a landslide election. Nobody else said.
Yeah, they didn't have to stuff the ballots or anything.
I heard there was no food for the people there. Everything was closed around the arena.
Yeah, it was tough. We had it much better in Austin, Texas. I gotta admit, at least on the food side.
We had a lot of pizza.
Don't use DoorDash though.
No,
they were just so terrible. Such a terrible thing. But the first mayor I ever remember was 2009. Anthony Robles was the mayor of St. Louis because I feel like that was the first year he placed.
That was when Zach Sanders stomped on him.
He did get stepped on by Zach Sanders. But he also beat Brandon Preeson. That was a big one. And then he became the mayor of St. Louis. And he held that until I think Shane Griffith took it from him. Which is a long term because that's 2009 through 2021. So Anthony's probably excited to move on with the next chapter of his life.
Probably happy to get out of there.
Yeah, probably so. He's probably just not enough pull-up bars in St. Louis.
Too much Emo's Pizza.
He would love to do a pull up on the arch. That would be the ultimate.
That would be cool.
Yes, that's something. Don't.
Pretty dangerous.
Johnny DeJulius will probably try that.
Him and Johnny will do it.
That'd be terrible. Tony Pickard, do you think if you tear your ACL and don't repair it, it just flops around in your knee like one of those waving inflatable man things?
Tyler's got that.
Tyler's got that image.
Yeah. There's no other way I could see it going down.
I think that's what happens. You dance like Dee from It's Always Sunny.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's those weird
hamstring things.
Yeah. If you don't have the hamstring strength like Spencer, this is what you end up looking like.
I'm pretty sure that's what Mr. Hines even told us is what happens with the knee model. He's like, see, this piece turns into floppy inflatable man.
Yes, that's what you'll become.
He said that word for word, yeah.
Verbatim. Okay, any other questions here? Yes, Miles Martin to Scarlet Knight Wrestling Club. I feel like
we mentioned it on Tuesday. We didn't go in depth about it, but we did mention it.
I can never remember a move this close to trials.
Did it say when he'd be moving there? Like, because he might just be finishing up at Ohio State.
I think he's in Colorado Springs right now training. So I don't even think he's in Ohio State currently. So he's changing. It sounds like some other coach changes going to be coming soon. But we'll let them announce that. Kevin Mulder hates that refs don't call neutral danger consistently. Watch the second period of the Keegan-Wenzel match and tell me why Keegan doesn't get points for holding Wenzel on his back. We thought that at the time.
They forget.
They just forget. They just forget to start doing the danger thing. Yeah, but it's getting better. Wenzel was the rightful winner of that match, though. But I did think they were a little tardy with that one. Okay, why don't we do some plugs? What time does action get going tomorrow? And then we can piece. We're pulling it up. So if you don't know, Last Chance is tomorrow.
10 a.m. Central, so 11.
Tomorrow and Saturday. So tomorrow you have Greco and women's freestyle, and then Saturday is men's freestyle.
And I believe it is a 11 a.m. Eastern time start time for both days.
Yep, and then finals at 7:30 Eastern, Saturday night, prime time.
Then followed, but really the finals are after that because they're going to have true seconds.
Yeah, true seconds if the second place and third place had not wrestled in the tournament. They will fight for the right to stay quarantined in Dallas for a week or Fort Worth for a week.
That's quite all right. So, yeah, they're doing this whole bubble thing so that, COVID, there's no COVID restrictions and they can keep everyone safe. So, that'll be exciting. Kozak, anything before we go?
No, man. It's fun. Fun to be here. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Thank you for coming on. Thanks to you guys for listening. We'll be back next Tuesday. We will have our full Olympic trials field. We'll be talking about it all week long. We'll be headed to Fort Worth. Some of us will have a watch party. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. What a fun time to be a wrestling fan. We'll see you then. We hope you guys have a great weekend. Watch Last Chance, and we will see you Tuesday. Thank you, guys. See ya.